And welcome back to another episode of Underdog Podcast. Man, crazy day, right? We sat and watched that bullshit play out. And I know some people out there are feeling like, well, damn, man, what the fuck? What just happened? Like, they didn't stop him, they didn't do anything. I know some people are probably making fun of me, like, "Hi, see, look, you thought you knew what was going on." Yeah, of course. Of course I thought. I had hope, right? It was highly unlikely that what I wanted to happen was going to happen, but I hoped it was going to happen. Like I said, I have no problem being wrong. This shit doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. It is what it is because the fight in me doesn't go away. I'm still going to voice my opinion. I'm still going to speak up and call the bullshit. I'm still going to try to go the legal route and stuff and do things, do legislation as far as petitions and getting things changed. One of the things that I kind of want to bring up. I know yesterday I talked about, on yesterday's episode, I talked about the issue as far as in my city, Lakeland, Florida, what was going on with the city council, the city commission, and the mayor, as far as the residents who didn't want to have the 300 plus luxury apartment home. And they had a negotiated deal with the city to have the 140. Come to find out, the fucking city council said, "Oh, fuck y'all, we're gonna vote to still have the 300 apartment home." Literally spitting in the face of the residents and citizens who said, "No, this is not what we want. This is not what we agreed to." Once again, goes to highlight exactly what I've been talking about, as far as these so-called elected officials. They don't give a fuck. They'll do whatever they feel like doing, and that's not how it's supposed to be because they're representatives. They're just a messenger. There's a reason why you don't get paid. You don't get paid that much of a high salary in public office. Not supposed to. Not supposed to make a career out of it. Yet these people over here selling out. And I think it was the mayor, Bill Mults. I think that's his name. Forget. Of Lakeland. He basically he said, "Well, we think it's a good deal and it'll really benefit the residents and it'll increase their property value." Bitch, like what the fuck? Like the people can make their own decisions. No one in the sitting office should say, "Oh, we can make these decisions for you. We know what's best." That's not how shit works. So that's something I'm gonna have to look into. Far as, hey, gotta get rid of these people in my local government, local legislation. Thought that was okay, but yep, they're showing their true colors, and the vote passed 5-2. And I think, is there a missing seat? There might be a missing seat. I can't remember. I don't think so though. But the vote passed 5-2. I'm looking into trying to figure out how to get a recall on Marco Rubio because he went against the overturn of the election. Or not overturn election, but he went against he didn't eject, or he went against the ejection of the electoral college vote, so he got to go. I look into trying to get rid of these people. In fact, why is it so hard to get rid of elected officials? If they're elected, how come they can't be unelected? Why is that? Oh, is that to, make sure that it's not abused as far as the power of the people in the sense of, hey, if we don't like this person, we don't want to just get rid of them. But that's exactly what it is. Like, if those same people that voted for him, if those same constituents that voted for him and got that person elected, those same people were allowed to vote to recall that person, guess what? They should be allowed to recall that person. I spent time yesterday looking into local charters as far as my state of Florida, not local, but at state level. I went into looking into the charters to try to figure out, damn, well, how do you? Because as I was watching one of the people I listen to, Tori's show, talking about doing things in Ohio, getting rid of recalling people. And I was like, damn it, why is it not built in every constitution or state constitution to recall people? What the fuck? Why? That should be in there already. I think only like 18 out of 50 states have that already in their constitutions, their state constitutions. That's insane. Why people who are elected officials can just kind of be in office forever? Shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. Now, I know watching the inauguration, people probably felt some type of way, like, what the fuck? I can't believe this shit's going on. And they probably felt defeated, deflated. There's always been a misconception about myself amongst my friends, family, coworkers, whoever. They all think I'm a doom and gloom. I know I have depression. I know I say some shit that might sound depressing. But if you listen, I'm laughing about it because I'm always optimistic. Why is the channel called, why is the podcast called Underdog Podcast? What is an underdog? Someone that the odds are against? Right? It's false. It's someone where people perceive that the odds are against them. The underdog knows exactly what they're capable of. And looking at everybody else like, oh, you call me an underdog, but I know what I can do. I have the confidence and belief in myself. So I'm always optimistic. I'm going to have hope, or even hope is irrational. I'm going to have hope that this shit going to end one day, because this rule of globalist, elitist, bullshit, satanic cult, whatever you want to call them, that's going on has to end one day. They've been reigning for thousands of years. At some point in time, their reign will come to an end. And I believe I'm in the correct reality, in the correct life, choosing the way I want to be, because I get to see how the shit ends. And I know, like I said, some people will probably feel deflated, and people are probably like, oh man, you still wrong. I still can't believe you're falling for this. Hey, that's your opinion. If I fall for it, I fall for it. Like I said, I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong. I have no problem being wrong. Because my thing is, I made that choice. I made that decision. And like I said, the things that I see, it's not just based on recent events. It's based on a history of my existence in this life form, in this human existence, in this reality. The things that I remember going back from when I was a child. It's all the research and knowledge that I have acquired over the years and the wisdom that I have attained. Like I said, what the fuck is going on in DC? And as I was watching the inauguration, I'm like, okay, I wrote a bunch of notes, some things I want to bring up. It was very interesting to see that. One thing, before I even get into that, there was an article from the New York Post, far as there was no handoff of the nuclear weapons, the nuclear launch code, excuse me, the black suitcase, whatever the shit you want to call it. You go to New York Post website, they have an article up and a video up as well showing that, see, this is what I'm talking about, is why I need a fucking live stream. They had a video up showing that they're walking to Marine One with the nuclear codes, getting on Marine One with Donald Trump. Why is that? Oh man, my nose bothering, excuse me. But why is that? Why is that? Is that how that shit works? It says Biden to get second set of nuclear codes after Trump takes first set to Florida. What the fuck? That's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. There is no second set. These are highly encrypted, probably set up with biometrics, everything. You don't just make a second set. And I think the article talks about, oh, don't worry, you'll just reset the codes. Yeah, it says the nuclear codes Trump brought will be deactivated at noon, just as Biden takes the oath of office, according to the Independent, at which point a new set of codes will be handed to the president. Typically, the nuclear football, also known as, quote-unquote, the biscuit, which is toted by military officials whenever the commander-in-chief travels, is transferred from president to his successor on Inauguration Day. But this year, Trump decided to leave the White House before the Capitol ceremony for Florida and skip the event. Shortly after Trump arrives at his resort around 11 a.m., the codes used to authenticate his orders will be deactivated. Will be deactivated. How? Why? Why? If that's a military thing, and the transfer of power from one president who's a commander in chief of the military to the other president who's a commander in chief of the military is still the same. You don't just sit there and make up new codes. That's not something that goes that way. Like I said, I was in the missile field, missile chef, worked at a missile alert facilities, and I would ride out there with the officers, the missileers, who would go down and, your 1960s turnstile, turn the keys, and they launch a nuclear weapon. It's just outdated. Fuck, it's beyond outdated. The shit falls apart. Keyboards, shit fall apart, man. Whatever. If I'm not supposed to say that, fuck it, doesn't matter. It's what they do. It's what it is. So the funny thing about that is that when they would go and they would have the codes with them or whatever, that shit is handcuffed to them. You can't leave it. You're not supposed to do anything like that. We're talking about nuclear codes. Yet Trump is no longer the president, yet he got on Marine One, flew to Andrews Air Force Base, did a little speech, then hopped on Air Force One, then flew to West Palm Beach and down to Mar-a-Lago in his little motorcade. What? Okay. And meanwhile, don't worry, Biden will get his second set. So what are you saying? We have two presidents? A second set? We have two presidents. Because how we know that it's deactivated, other than if someone says it's deactivated. But we don't actually know. And if they're worried about him launching nuclear weapons and that's why they wanted him to get rid of the codes and invoke the 25th Amendment, then why the fuck is he allowed to just hop on Marine One, then hop on Air Force One with the nuclear launch codes? Don't worry, they'll be deactivated and another set will be made. What? It's these things like this that kind of make you say, wait, what the fuck is going on? You have to pay attention to the details because it's so easy to lullaby people to sleep because guess what? We've been just not paying attention. We've just been walking around with our eyes closed. We think we're seeing, but we're not. The shit is right in front of your face. It's these little odd little things. Why did Biden fly in a personal jet? An article from MSN.com. Of course it's not going to. You got to be shitting me. Now, for some reason, I can't get. What? I just had this article up and now it won't come back up. It just says it doesn't exist. Wait a minute. Man, I'm not going to lie. This kind of. I literally just had this article up and now it just went away. It just doesn't exist anymore. It was an article from MSN, which I think was originally from Business Insider, but basically it was saying that Biden flew his personal plane. Okay, now I found it. I got to back up. Oh, Business Insider, India. Wait, what? Why? India. Business Insider, India. Says Biden flew to D.C. on a luxurious Boeing 737 private jet with its own master bedroom and shower. And then all this just has the pictures of the jet. Which I don't think that's something that you do. I don't know. Isn't that a little odd? Shouldn't be picked up by government officials, military officials. What's going on? There's some video surfacing on the internet as far as I was on Twitter and some other things too, a Telegram messaging app. And you saw videos of the presidential motorcade going around Arlington, cemetery, I believe. One, the shit was empty. The whole city was empty. It was really odd. But this is after the ceremony, and you had troops just standing with their back turned to the motorcade. That's not military. That's not military. Granted, you might salute a certain vehicle at a certain time, and then not salute the whole motorcade. One, because it's long as fuck, so it's, you can't have people standing there saluting it. You'll have people fall out. And guess what? People fall out in the military and military formation all the fucking time. You can't just have people standing still and stuff. Some people have underlying health issues that they don't know about. Some people just it's fucking hard to do. You don't just stand there locked up and stuff. You'll pass out literally. So it's interesting to see that they were just standing there casually. Even if they're not going to salute, even if they're not at attention, they should be at a parade rest, or at least in some type of formation, because this is the presidential motorcade, right? Pay attention to how the military was just kind of like there, but not really like there. They were just there, right? And it was odd how quiet it was, eerily quiet it was. And I get people weren't allowed there for the most part. There was a few crowd out on the lawn of the Capitol building, but the whole thing was just odd. It was so quiet. It was so quiet. Then you have they're all masked up, right? They all got masks on, but they're not necessarily 6 feet apart from each other. So okay, you got masks on because you're not 6 feet apart from each other. All right, cool. Why were they still hugging? Why are they still grabbing each other? I seen Jennifer Lopez hug Michelle Obama. Alex Rodriguez hugged Michelle Obama. Lady Gaga looked like she was so happy, like she finally made it to the top of the social elite. She didn't know what to do with herself. She was ready to suck everybody's dick on stage. She's like, thank you, thank you. Pay attention to Lady Gaga and understand what type of person she is, because she is friends with, in association with, almost looks at this woman as a mentor, Maria Abramovich. You know, the same lady from Jay-Z's Picasso video. Picasso, baby, Picasso. Look up her on the internet. Look up her on YouTube. Look into the type of shit Maria Abramovich is into. See the shit that she does that she says qualifies as art. Throwing pig's blood on a fucking wall and putting a kid in the corner. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a statue. And this who Lady Gaga is in association with. And look at her fucking dress. She walked out on a black top and a red dress. And I seen a little bird on her chest and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck is this, Hunger Games? Like, I was like, is this a Mockingjay bird? Like, what the fuck? Why does this look familiar? Oh, guess what? Because it was Hunger Games. She was wearing an outfit that I think Elizabeth Banks' character wore in the Hunger Games film. If not, she damn sure was walking out there looking like her, because that's all I could think of. I was like, damn, is this Hunger Games? And come to find out, as I made a tweet on Twitter, it seems like it was going around, the hashtag was going around too, about Hunger Games at the same time. Like, it's so eerily that it's a shot out straight from the fucking movie Hunger Games. Isn't that wild? Why is she wearing it? But I thought it was a Mockingjay bird. I knew it wasn't the fucking eagles. Like, some bird is a dove. It's a dove. Now, I haven't took the time to go back into the symbolism, but I know it's something. I know it means something, but not exactly what they're saying and they think it means. But she had the black top, big ass fluffy red dress, sitting there like she's fucking so excited. I can't believe I get to sing a national anthem here in front of, all these great people. Pay attention to their body language. Then before I even go on to that, then she had a gold mic. Pay attention to the body language. I looked at Michelle and Barack Obama. They looked like they were sweating. I'm like, wait a minute, is it cold outside or is it hot outside? Why are you sweating? One of Biden's granddaughters, her eyes was all over the place, like she was about to get fucking shot or something. She was like just looking around, like, okay, what's going on? And I almost had a sense of they were just kind of thinking like, we're actually doing this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. It's almost like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get away with it. We're gonna get away with it. It seemed a little odd. They seemed a little nervous. Amy Coney Barrett was off in the corner. Like, hey, you go stand over there in the corner against the wall. And they had to make sure they mentioned that Kamala Harris was the first African American and first Asian American woman vice president. What? I thought she was Jamaican. What is going on here? I thought she was Jamaican. So she's Asian American and African American. You rarely hear the term European American. We just say they're white people. It's these little subtleties. It's the minor details that seems like it's nothing, but it is something that goes right over people's heads because we've been programmed and trained not to see these things. You have this whole barricade, You have all these barricades, you have all these fences, you have all this shit going on. You have 25,000 troops in DC. The shit look like a fucking ghost town. All that for what? You were worried about Trump supporters? And then Trump supporters are QAnon followers, whoever else who's on the opposite side of the spectrum. It was like, well, people like me was probably like not in association with them, but thinking, man, if it's not about Trump supporters, then maybe they're worried about things being released then again, they're not worried about Trump supporters coming up there being all pissed off, then what is it? Are you worried about non-Trump supporters being pissed off about something else that's going on in government? Are you worried about Democrats, leftists getting mad and coming and storming the Capitol? What are you worried about? Exactly what is going on. Why did you need 25,000 troops? And I seen a video this morning that some of the checkpoints are just abandoned, but the barricades and fencing is still there. So are they going to draw down? Are they going to go ahead and put the shit away? Because I think the executive order, or the national emergency order for DC ends the 24th. So 3 days from now. So that means the troops should be leaving. Seems like some National Guards left, but then they got in a helicopter crash this morning. It's these small little stories that kind of go over people's heads, because what association does that have with anything? Why was there a helicopter crash? How did it happen? This is just still developing story, so not much details is known, but it was a crash somewhere in New York. 3 soldiers was dead. It was from an Army National Guard unit, and that's where they're going back to. They haven't released the names of who died, but yeah, it happened. Kind of continue on with the inaugurational ceremony. You have Biden, who looked like they brought out the codex, the codex of the Devil's Bible. You go look that up. It was weird because it was a huge ass Bible, and it's like, okay, cool. I get it. Maybe it's your own personal Bible you want to bring to and swear in on that Bible. Then again, why are you swearing on that Bible? Should you just swear on whatever Bible that they have there? Then again, why even swear on the Bible? Are you just pretending? Does it actually mean anything? And then Kamala Harris in her purple suit, apparently it's the same fucking suit Lisa Simpson wore, obviously in The Simpsons, when she became president. You don't know if these people are just trolling and they just fucking with us, or what is going on here? Because it's no longer a coincidence. These things shouldn't be happening. But I think it's so funny that there's a picture of Kamala Harris with her hand on the Bible, except for her hand's not on the Bible. Her hands don't look like a small little pocketbook or a small little purse. And then there's a Bible underneath. And her Bible is different than the Bible Joe Biden has. Could mean nothing. Could mean something. Whatever. But it's just all these small little details that stands out, that constantly get overlooked. You have Garth Brooks running around and stuff in his little country fake outfit that he wears, and and it was odd to see how close and chummy these entertainers were with these elected, previous elected officials, your previous presidents. They were just like, hey, pals and stuff. Just all you see Lady Gaga just like so happy, they're so excited. Thank you and thank you and thank you. It's like, what are you kissing ass right now? Maybe she is. Maybe she knows that she's being initiated herself into another elite class, a perceived higher elite class. You want to say elite, but all the little things that was going on, all the body language, the nervousness. People were, couldn't tell if people were anxious, or they were just nervous, or what was going on, but they couldn't stand still. I'm talking about even before the ceremony began, they couldn't stand still, which is odd too because I thought the swearing was at 12 p.m. I thought it was at noontime. Yet after I got done recording the podcast and as I was uploading, I was watching, I'm like, wait a minute, this shit's going kind of, it's 10:30 or whatever time frame it was, 11, something like that. I'm like, hey, this shit is starting to take place already? Isn't it at noon? I mean, it's a formal ceremony, but I've been a part of formal ceremonies when the military is involved. I was in the honor guard in MacDill Air Force Base, so, sometimes shit is dragged out, sometimes it goes fast, but as far as a military thing that goes on, it's not that much. And you're swearing in, okay, cool. But you're supposed to swear in at noon, because at noon, that's when one presidency ends and the other presidency begins. Yet, go back and check the timestamps of the live stream, they swore in Biden before noon. What does that mean? Does that mean that what they did was illegal? Beyond what they already were doing was illegal? Does that mean maybe the shit was possibly pre-recorded? And that's the fucked up thing, because we have no idea whether it was pre-recorded or not. There's some stuff going around saying that, there's screenshots. Oh, not screenshots. If you go to EarthCam website, there actually is there's a live footage or screenshots of the live cam footage of DC yesterday, and parts of it looks cloudy, and some of it looks like it's not cloudy. Some of it looks like it's sunshine. Sometimes it looks like it's not. Because one moment they're showing like, oh, it looks like a bright sunny day. Yet I'm looking on the Earth cam and I see clouds. But hey, small little details, right? Right over the National Mall, right over the monument. It looks like a cloudy day. Looks like I'm looking at it now. God, I really gotta get up this live stream so I can put this stuff up I'm looking at. But you're just looking at like fucking emptiness, man. Just fucking emptiness. Like, even on the live stream I was watching C-SPAN, they really wouldn't do a shot more or less of the National Mall area, that lawn area. And when they did, all you saw was flags. But what you also saw was a bunch of troops just standing around, chilling. Like I said, that's not really how the military works. And if you're just standing around doing nothing, someone's going to come up, and some sergeant, some officer's going to come up, hey, why is everybody standing around? You got to do something. You're getting paid. You got to do something. I hated that shit. Because I'm like, shut up. Ain't nothing to do. Relax. But they're just kind of standing there. And they were in full body gear. Like Kevlar helmets, vests, armor vests. Hell, they even had their fucking gas masks on their side. Why are you in full armor gear and having gas masks ready when no weapons are allowed in DC? It's a military presence there that is really the biggest question, because it's not really answered. And that's what keeps me wondering what the fuck is actually going on. And as I play this guessing game trying to figure it out, it's something that keeps staying reminded in my mind. It's a memory, or as an image I keep overplaying in my head, like, hey, what is going on? What is going on here? What am I actually watching? What am I actually witnessing? I witnessed the complete act a full-blown act. No doubt in my mind now, no doubt in anyone's mind. We all sat and watched it and witnessed treason being committed. They know Joe Biden did not win. They all know that. Anyone with a brain that's paying attention knows Joe Biden didn't win. Anyone that can get their emotions out of themselves and pay attention to what's going on, you can see Joe Biden did not win. You can see tons of election fraud. You can see all the evidence and stuff. They didn't bother to take the time to really check and thoroughly make sure that you have a legitimate president. Why? Because they know they cheated. And they're going to continue on with their cheating plan. One little thing to mention real quick is that, hey, the inauguration used to be on March 4th. Before 1933, the inauguration is on March 4th. In 1933, they changed the inauguration from March 4th to, I believe, January 20th with the amendment to the amendment to the Constitution. There's the 20th Amendment. I'm on the Library of Congress website, obviously it's .gov. It says inauguration day until the ratification of the 20th Amendment in 1933, the official day for presidential inaugurations was March 4th. And then when the 4th fell on Sundays, as it did in 1821, 1849, 1877, and 1917, the ceremonies were held on March 5th. So, remember what I said the other day, as far as the Act of 1871 creating D.C. The capital has been moved throughout the so-called history of the United States of America. At one point in time, it was in New York City. Then I believe another time it was in Philadelphia. Now it's in D.C. Almost like you can establish a capital wherever the fuck you feel like it. Notice how the capital before was in actual places. In the country. Like I said, D.C. is not part of the country. It does not exist in the country. It's outside the country. There's a thing called city-state. If you remember Roman times, obviously with Rome was a city-state. Notice how Rome is in the country of Italy. Vatican, a city-state that operates outside of the rules and laws of everything. Outside of the country is its own entity. Because once you incorporate a place and as a corporation, you do whatever the fuck you want. There's 3 city-states that kind of have the biggest influence in the world. You have your Vatican, which obviously is a place for the Catholic Church, so you're thinking religion, spirituality. Bank of London, finances. You have the City of London, City of London, City of London. It's not part of England. City-state, completely separate entity. And then you have Washington, D.C., once again, city-state, completely separate entity, your military power. So all these things are starting to come into play. All these things that I looked into and like, hey, if any real president, we ever had a real president, we ever had any people in office that really cared, they would be kind of talking about these things. Or if not, at some point in time, these things will come into play. You've seen a military operation. You've seen a military occupation of D.C., which is not part of the rest of the 50 United States. That's factual. That's factual. Anytime you go to put in your address, whatever, what do you see? 50 states in D.C., in U.S. territories, Puerto Rico, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands. That doesn't make you think, hey, what do you mean? D.C. is not part of the United States. Exactly what I said. It's not part of the United States. Why is there an act? The organic, to create D.C. Why do you have these things? It's interesting that it even goes on, that this happens. Because it's right in front of your face, yet people don't understand. People don't question anything. As they had a little celebration to continue on with their little inaugural celebration, as they're going through the Capitol building and stuff and all these other things, and it was just quiet. It's just quiet. The press is there taking pictures, but they're not really asking any questions, and they're just there, just quiet. As they talk about the little shit that's going on, and then they go to the Arlington Cemetery, the tomb of the unknown soldiers and stuff like that. They're just talking. And they're putting on a show. I seen something that somebody mentioned there was no 21 gun salute. There was one for Trump as he departed, but it wasn't one for during the inaugurational ceremony. Another one of those small little details that kind of goes over people's head. Something I didn't even recognize. Even though I know it's part of it. Like when you have something like that, it's 21 gun salute. Like it's a sign of respect. It's funny too that you also, like I said, all these celebrities came out the woodworks. Like, oh, everything's back to normal for them. Everything's back to their globalist control, their elitist mentality. Everything's back for them. Let me have J-Lo up here. Let me have this 22-year-old poet I never heard of before. Let me have her speak and stuff. And she, as I stand here as a skinny black girl, what did you just say about yourself? I may not be able to be president, but I know I'm up here representing something she said. I was like, nothing about this seems like, is this okay to say? Nothing about this. Then you go on to have, I think Hunter Biden was there too as well. It's like, you didn't see his face forever. So you telling me Hunter Biden up there, the man we know, his laptop images is all over the internet? I've seen some wild shit on his thing. His documents, his emails, all his text messages, the things he did with Burisma and Ukraine, the shit he has connection with China. Yet this man is up on stage. The whole thing is illegitimate. Guess what? There's no president. There's no president. There is no president of your United States government corporation. There is no president. How? How can there be one if they never had a legal person? Which makes you wonder, how can there ever be a legal government if there's no legal vote? If no one is actually elected. Nobody was actually elected because the fraud that happened, the person that was legitimately elected said it didn't win, and the person that was falsely illegitimately elected on false votes, made up votes, you're saying won. Yet, what makes this official? When other false officials say it makes it official, just because everyone says it's true doesn't make it true. Just because everyone says it's factual doesn't make it factual. Pay attention, use your brain. Use your eyes of what you're seeing. That's why I'm not worried. That's why I'm not concerned, because I know it's in everyone's mind. No matter what, they're thinking, what the fuck did I just see? Something's not right about this. Something's not right about this. You don't even care if you're a Biden supporter. I don't even care if you're all for, oh, well, the world's going to change now. Everything's going to be better. The man signed 15 executive orders yesterday. 15 executive orders. How? How do you sign 15 executive orders, bro? You just got in there. Oh, you're getting hard at work. Wait, hard at work? How? Did you have all these executive orders ready to go? Isn't that a little excessive? That's a lot to have, right? 15 executive orders? I got an article here from Fox News. And I often kind of use some of the same things, Fox News, Business Insider. Like I said, it's stuff I follow on Twitter. And to be honest with you, like I mentioned before, I mean, they're all written by the same people. All the images are from Getty Images. And usually, most of the time, everything is from in some association with Associated Press. They all get the shit from the same sources. And the articles read the same. Hell, the headline reads the same. They don't even try. It says Biden signs executive orders on COVID-19, immigration, rejoining Paris Climate Accord, and the World Health Organization. Globalism. So-called first day in office, and he's ready to bring everybody back on board to globalism. Yet he cares about the country. Yet he cares about America. He cares so much about America, American jobs. He said he wasn't going to end fracking, and he wasn't going to, stop fracking because he don't want people to lose jobs. Yet, guess what he did? Stop fracking. Signed executive orders is one of the things to stop fracking. So to quit, now people are out of jobs. Those 10,000, 11,000, how many number of people there are out of jobs who are part of the Keystone Pipeline. And whether you're for or against that, I can understand. But at the same time, pay attention to how the dude just flat out just lied. And not even like a double speak, just flat out lie. Oh no, we won't be doing that. And then he does it. First day. His 100 days of wearing masks. I can only do it in places that I have authority over. Oh, no shit. So what's the point of doing it? Is his 100 days of wearing a mask only applies to federal property. When do you go on federal property? Yeah, what, you go on a military base? That's when you go on federal property and you wear a mask then? You think people, I haven't been on MacDill Air Force Base since I'm out. Well, I was last year, but that was for a wedding from one of my friends. But not last year. I guess I can't say that. It was in 2019. At the end, it was like November 2019. So obviously, even though COVID was around, no mask wearing. We weren't there yet. Yet, why make this executive order? Why do all this thing? Go back into the Paris Climate Accord. You mean the thing that was shelling out money and people were like, oh, he's not going to raise taxes. How you think he's going to pay for all this shit? He's going to raise taxes. He has no choice but to. But don't worry. That's your American duty as an American citizen, to pay taxes. To fund your government. Because people like Trump don't pay taxes. That's un-American. This shit is hilarious, man. This shit is hilarious, bro. I'm one of those people that laugh at fucked up situations. I was talking to my friend yesterday about something, and he's as he's being serious about something, he's like, I'm for real. I was like, oh, I know you for real. I'm still gonna laugh because this is who I am. He's like, oh, let's see how that hasn't changed. No, it hasn't. It's not going to. I have to laugh at this shit because it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that you just kind of sit back like, damn, this shit is wild, man. That's how I accept it, because I try to keep my emotions balanced. Like I said, as I'm watching the inauguration, of course, I want fucking the troops to go up there and fucking arrest everybody on stage. Did I think that was going to happen? Fuck no. But did I want it to happen? Fuck yeah. I know optics and I understand how you probably can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. Also, the bigger picture, you do that, it looks like Trump is a tyrant, a military person, or dictator, or whatever the case you want to be. But what happens when you're in a third world country and you have illegitimate persons claiming to be president, when you have election fraud and no one knows what the fuck is going on? What usually happens? Military occupation, right? Are you not seeing military occupation in D.C.? Depending on how long it lasts, are you not seeing military occupation in D.C.? Hopefully today they start taking down these things, these fences, these barriers, all this stuff. They start packing up and leaving. Makes you wonder though, still, why was there so fucking many? To continue on with the article, which I completely went off of, right? Like I always do. God damn it. It says, in his first hours as president Joe Biden, why would you say that twice? Whatever. President Joe Biden signed a series of executive actions that reverse his predecessor's orders on immigration, climate change, and handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Some of the executive options that I'm going to be, this is a quote from Joe Biden, some of the executive options that I'm going to be signed today are going to help change the course of the COVID crisis, and we're going to combat climate change in a way that we haven't done so far. And these are just all starting points. The 15 executive actions were an attempt to essentially rewind the last 4 years of federal policies with striking speed. Striking speed? Striking speed. Only 2 recent presidents signed executive actions on the first day in office, and each signed just one. Each signed just one. Just one. And this guy decided to sign 15 executive orders. Unlawful actions. Illegitimate because he's not president. So does the executive orders actually mean anything? I think he ordered to end the construction of the border wall, and the workers down there have 7 days, yet they continue still working. Maybe, I don't know, probably the same reason why fucking Trump gone and playing with the nuclear codes. Who does that? Who does that? And no one stops him. Because guess what? He's not carrying it. Military personnel are carrying it. Remember, they vetted all the military people saying, oh, well, we can't. They were worried about any Trump support or stuff like that. And I think they ended up kicking out two of the people from the inauguration ceremony, or 2 or 3 people, part of the military. So all these people vetted, right, are supposed to be not Trump supporters and no political bias and stuff like that. Yet you have the same military troops who just kind of stand there lackadaisical with their backs turned to the presidential motorcade. Doesn't matter if it was the president's, if it was Biden's vehicle or not. They had their backs turned towards them. That's not something you do in the military. That's not something you do. Trust me. Trust me, it's not something you do. I've been on base when Obama was coming and stuff like that. I've been on base. Hell, I completely forgot this the other day. I was thinking about it. I forgot. I went and saw Dick Cheney speak when I was in Guam. I completely forgot about it. Probably because I didn't like him anyway. So, but I completely forgot I actually went and saw him. It's funny though that the people that they vetted and stuff like that, they didn't seem like nobody seemed excited, right? Everything's supposed to be going back to normal. Everybody's supposed to be excited because Trump ruined the country for 4 years, and everybody's supposed to be excited. Yet it felt kind of eerie, right? It felt kind of gloomy. And then later on that night, you have the whole celebrating America. I watched that shit because I had to watch it, man, because it's funny. It's funny. You knew, I mentioned before, it was going to be pre-recorded things, stuff like that. But they were hopping around the country. You had a band in Texas performing. You had John Bon Jovi in Miami performing. And then you had somebody in LA performing, someone in New York City performing. You had all these different things going on. All these celebrities coming out. I see Chris Paul, basketball player. I see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, obviously all-time NBA legend, Hall of Fame basketball player. All the people come out of the woodworks. Oh yeah, we're so happy. Why? So they can go back to their ways. So they can not be criticizing the public and stuff on social media for what they're doing. Meanwhile, they're still rioting in Portland, Oregon. And they went after a fucking building, a Democratic headquarters in Portland, Oregon. What do you think, it was Trump supporters? Who's in Portland, Oregon? The same people that's been up there, those Antifa people. What is actually going on? And you have all these celebrities coming out. I think it was Eva Longoria. Fucking know she was still around. And she's sitting there and she's talking and stuff like that, and she's presenting and all these different things. They cut to a scene near the Black Lives Matter plaza where they have the painted Black Lives Matter on the road and stuff. And this lady, a figure skater, is not figure skating because obviously it's on concrete. So she's basically fucking literally roller skating and doing performance in the middle of the street with no one around. Even in the background, you see some people carrying a ladder like construction, and they're walking through the fucking scene. And then you see like a production assistant coming up like, hey, get out the road. You're out in the way of the view. It's like, this shit is a joke, man. This shit is a joke. They celebrated America, but didn't even invite America. How do you not invite America, man? How do you not invite America? We're going to celebrate America, but don't worry, America. You guys have to stay at home because we're concerned about your safety and your health. But don't worry, we all could be up here on stage and hug and stuff and be close to each other. It's okay. We got our mask on, but you people out there in the lawn, you got to be social distancing 6 feet apart from everybody and stuff. And even though you got your mask on, we won't have that many people. Then we won't have really just regular ass people come and celebrate too close to the state capitol building and the White House, stuff like that. I seen some live streams as I was watching on Twitch. I think it was the Woke Media, whatever. And they had a whole bunch of live streams up at once. And I saw some people down there, some Trump supporters. I seen Biden supporters. I couldn't tell which part of the city they were at. But it looked like they were nowhere near the building. I was like, it was odd. Cause I'm like, what part of, say DC is not that big. So what part of the city are they at that they're still separated away from the rest of, the White House, the state capitol, Lincoln Memorial, Lincoln Monument, all this other stuff? Where are they at? but they're somewhere in the city. It was really odd. It was really odd. To continue on what I was talking about, you have, as far as the Celebrating America show, you have Tom Hanks. The guys that fucking fled the country and became a Greek citizen last year. Oh, don't worry, Joe Biden's back. The Globals is back in the building, so he came on back and like, hey, look at me, I'm hosting the show, bro. We know you do some shady shit with kids, man. We know you do some shady shit with kids. So much the fact that you made sure you started a movie where you're saving a little kid to clean up your image. It's too late, man. Things have been seen and posted and shared on social media as far as your Instagram posts. The little kind of odd things you're doing, man. Kind of odd. Just saying. And yet, here he is on stage. Or, see, I said on stage. He's at a Lincoln Monument. I said on stage because that's exactly what it all felt like. A complete fucking stage. It all felt like I said, you're watching a movie. It didn't seem like something was going on that was actual. It just felt like you was watching a movie. Why do you feel like you're watching a movie? You can't shake that feeling. It's your own consciousness, your own subconsciousness, and your own gut instinct telling you, hey, what I'm seeing is off. It's not necessarily a reality, it's an illusion. They're only showing me what they want me to see. You can feel it. The whole thing is just off. It's all off. It's all odd. It's all weird. And there's so much stuff that I'm still missing. That's the crazy part. I get on here, I talk about an hour or so, and I come up with all these different theories, and I'm sharing these things and these different ideas and maybe what's going on, what's not going on. And honestly, I'm passing along information. I'm having this, talking about all the stuff that I can think of, and I still miss shit because there's so much going on. There's so much going on. A suicide bomb happens in Baghdad this morning, which I guess will be their afternoon. Then you have an explosion at a coronavirus vaccine maker building in India, blows up this morning, catches on fire. But don't worry, the wing where the fire happened was under construction, so it didn't affect the creation or production of the vaccines. Like I said, the helicopter crash in New York that killed 3 soldiers, part of the National Guard. What is going on? It's all these little subtleties. It's all these little dots. And as we sit and try to figure out, try to connect it, because it's the world that we live in, yet obviously the people around the world, the people that you want to say are leaders, are in charge or in control, they definitely don't want us to know what the fuck is going on. Meanwhile, you can see all the little hints and subtleties. They celebrated America and didn't invite America. I cannot get over that. Oh, we do this for you, America. This is for you. What do you mean? We're not there. We're not allowed there. You're worried about, your life. They're so worried about and concerned about their safety, they won't even allow America to come. Meanwhile, they got 20,000, 25,000 troops armed to the T, who, if anything, where they have the order to use lethal force doesn't matter, because in the military, when in doubt, if you feel like your life is threatened, you have that right to protect yourself. That's something that a lot of people don't know about. That's something that was told constantly to us whenever we did any training, anything like that, in preparation of going on deployments or wherever the case may be. Like, hey, when in doubt, if you feel like your life is in danger, you have the right to protect yourself. That's what happens. So they're armed to the T. They got the Kevlar helmets and vests on, fucking gas masks on their hips, all ready to go for the presidential inauguration. If your president is legitimate, shit shouldn't happen. Even if you're worried about riots, don't worry, you're ready. Let the people be the people. But don't worry, because of COVID and stuff, they're like, oh, you can't come out here and watch us, even though we'll celebrate, even though we're celebrating America. They were celebrating America, their America. The psychological effect that took place as far as the inauguration and the little show that they put on later on that night, they let you know exactly how they feel about the rest of the country. Hey, we sit up here and we put on a show, and we can throw out some entertainers and stuff for you, and we distract you. But who we are and what we do is completely separate from you and what you do. We tell you what to do. Just like I said, as far as the situation going on in my hometown, as far as what the city council, the city commission, the mayor did, all they're saying is we decide what's best for you, not you. You're not in charge. We tell you what's best for you. They sat there, the inaugurational committee, all those people, they said, hey, you guys can't come. We'll celebrate America for you. We'll put on a show for you to watch, but you stay at home. You don't attend. You're not allowed to attend because, one, we don't trust some of y'all because you might try to hurt us. So we got to make sure for our own safety that you don't come. And two, we're worried about your safety because we don't want you to get sick. We don't want you to get sick. So you're not allowed to come. Even though we were going to bring in tons and tons of troops to protect ourselves, right? Even though we got the vaccines out, we still got to have some level of protection to keep us separated away from you. What is going on here? What is actually going on here? Why are you doing fireworks at nighttime? Who the fuck is around to see this? I guess people that live in the surrounding areas around DC who not allowed in DC. Don't worry. It's a ghost town, but we're going to celebrate America with fireworks. As you see Joe Biden and his wife still having their mask on. I believe so. Still had a mask on, even though they're standing next to each other. Even though you're in the White House now. It's all of those subtleties. How come Trump had military flags, battle flags, in his Oval Office, yet Biden doesn't? And most other presidents didn't either. Battle flags are usually there when you're in a battle, you're in a war. Remember, Trump keeps telling people that we're fighting an invisible enemy. You think he was talking about a virus? It's double speak. Things have meaning. Means one thing and means another thing. You just got to figure out what the fuck do they mean when they talk. That's why I sat there and watched it, because you have to listen. It was annoying as fuck, and it's hard because you're like, you motherfuckers are really doing this shit, man. You really going? We know you're committing treason. We know you're lying. We know you know you're lying. That's the thing. We know you know they're lying. They know we know they're lying. So everyone knows that all this is a lie. Everyone knows, because there's no way anybody has. Be honest with you, I'm a little worried if someone has 100% no doubt in their mind that all this is legitimate. I'm a little worried about that person. If you're not feeling some type of doubt about all this shit, if you're not feeling some type of, hey, this is off, then you need to check yourself. You need to check yourself. And that's not an attack on anyone or anything like that. It's not even a criticism. That's just, hey, you can't ignore what your own gut instinct is telling you. And that's all I'm doing. When something doesn't feel right, there's a reason for it. That's it. When something logically doesn't make sense, there's a reason for it. What is going on? Like I said, man, they celebrated America but didn't invite America. We don't have the fireworks and all this shit. The fireworks is probably from China. We're going to have these fireworks and everything, but so you can watch at home and feel like you're a part of the show, but not actually be a part of the show. Didn't Nancy Pelosi say it doesn't matter whether the current resident wants to leave the White House or not? We'll have an inauguration regardless. Trump left the White House, right? And they decided to have an inauguration regardless, whether he's going to be there or not. And they got the inauguration that they wanted. Was it on the 20th? Was it on the 19th? Can you actually tell if it was on the 20th or if it was on the 19th? That's the fucked up thing. Can you actually tell? There's people trying to take screenshots of what the weather looked like on the 20th, and it didn't look like what they were showing on TV. It was like DC supposed to be cloudy and I think a chance of snow and all that other stuff. Yet it didn't look like none of that. But hey, once again, could be wrong. Could be wrong. But like I said, it's more than just about being right or wrong. I'm not trying to predict things like, oh look, I know what's exactly right. I know what's going on. Oh man, stuff like that. Like, no, it's about trying to think, trying to critical think, trying to use your brain to figure out what is going on, because clearly everybody's lying to us. Doesn't matter if it's Trump or not. Doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden or not. They're all fucking lying to us. The real question would be what their intentions are and their reasons behind lying to us. But regardless, they're lying to us. They're lying to us. I see some things people are once again, as they always been, attacking QAnon or Q believers or whatever the case may be, saying that's a psyop. No shit is a psyop. It's a psyop, duh. But guess what? All it is just following clues. All it is some things that say, hey, this, and that. Sharing an article, sharing this and that. No different than what has already been going on anyways. We're all trying to figure out what's going on. And that's really the best thing you can hope for. Is people trying to figure out what's going on and people taking action to try to do things within their own state legislation and stuff like that to make a change as far as the laws go. Because we the people decide the laws. That's something I'm going to be looking more into myself. I started yesterday, like I said, paying attention to the state legislation and saw that, oh, we don't have the ability to recall anybody, or there's no law to recall anyone. And then that there's a 20-year period in between where you're able to make an amendment to the state legislation, to the state constitution, rather, in Florida. Okay, I get that. You can do, you can look at it every 20 years, but there should be some type of clause in there where, hey, if you get enough votes where we can say, fuck this, no, we want to make an amendment now. So that's one thing to look into as well. And that's something that I will be doing more research on. I already got the links saved and stuff, and I already know exactly what to do, but I want to make sure I understand the law myself, the legalese, and what goes into it. One of the shit says be a paid partitioner, or not paid partitioner, a paid petition circulator. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why do I have to be a paid person? You have to be paid by someone to circulate this petition as opposed to, I don't know, just fucking doing it yourself. Most likely what I'm reading as far as what I'm getting, how I'm interpreting it already, is basically that you got to have some type of organizational effort behind you. You can't just be a person trying to do it, which is crazy because you should be able to be just a person trying to do it. But that's something that person's going to do because, like I said, I'm the one to blame for this. I take full responsibility. I take full accountability. The lesson I was teaching to my son last night, because it's something that he did. Be accountable for your actions. I understand that I wasn't paying attention, allow this shit to happen. I understand that not paying attention, like I said, in my own city council thing, oh, well, I think for the most part they're okay, and then kind of find out, no, snakes. They went against the vote. They went against the outcry of the people and basically said, oh, you guys don't understand that this will increase their property value level. Are you serious? What if people are not concerned about increasing their property value level? Because that's exactly what the fuck they said. They said this. As I listened to the little town hall city commission meeting and they had the public there, the people were saying, hey, we understand that this makes money. We understand revenues and profit, but this is not about that. This is about quality of life for us that live there. This is about congestion and traffic, security cameras being put up and stuff in places we don't want to be put up at. At least I think that's what they were saying, but I know they were really talking about quality of life. It wasn't talking about profits and revenue. And yet the city turns around and does what? Profit and revenue. Because why? Everything's about economy. Everything's about commerce. Everything's about money. These people that want to aspire to be in these political offices usually be about money. That's what the big thing about Trump was. He wasn't owned by anybody because he had his own money. He had his own money. So he couldn't be bought. They literally state that in one of the documents, saying that they couldn't buy them. So that he was going to be an issue, because normally they don't care who gets in there. They can buy them out. Everybody, hey, they force them, they blackmail, they do whatever. What happens when you can't buy a person out? What happens when a person stands on their own moral grounds and values and has their own integrity? What happens then? They can't be controlled. They can't be influenced. They can't be manipulated. Well, I think they were so pissed off about him because they knew they couldn't get to him. They knew it. It wasn't the first time he ran for president. Now, they say he's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. Flip back and forth both sides. I think he even been on a third party as well before. He's all over the place. So my thing is, like I said when I started this episode, people probably feel deflated. They feel hurt. They're nauseated watching that. They're like, oh, Trump didn't do anything. You got to come out and do something. You got to do something. The thing is, we're speculating. We don't know his plan. Obviously, I don't. I can only put myself in the shoes and think about what I would do. And as things play out, I'm like, okay, well, that theory didn't work out. So what else am I missing? That's all I'm thinking about. What am I missing? Because something is going on, yet I don't quite get the picture yet. I need to connect more of the dots. I need to look at the bigger picture. And like I said, that's one thing. I'm not looking for him to be my hero. I'm my own fucking hero. I'll do shit myself. Thus, me voicing my opinion. Thus, me starting this podcast. Thus, me having my website for years. Me sharing information. Me trying to get the word out there. Me spreading knowledge. Because the best thing you can do is spread knowledge. You care about the world? Spread knowledge. And when I say spread knowledge, I'm not saying, oh, hey, look at this. Look what I'm showing y'all. This is right, blah, blah. I know sometimes it might sound like I'm saying that, but what I'm saying is, hey, this is what I learned. This is what I know about. Whether you not agree with it, that's you. That's your business. But I'm just going to share this information. Not necessarily to have a conversation or go back and forth. Although that is okay as well. I'm more or less just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing shit out there because it's out there anyways, but no one's fucking looking at it. No one's reading it. No one's paying attention to it. What happens when we don't have a legitimate president of the United States of America? Government. The federal government. What happens when they have no real, actual president? And one video I seen on the internet was talking about, well, the United States government corporation just dissolves without a president. Is that really true? We're going to uncharted territories that we don't really know of in this form, in this modern history. But I wouldn't be surprised if you check back at older history and pay attention to how governments rose and fall and pay attention to what happened to them. You wouldn't see some similarities. History repeats itself. That's why you're supposed to learn from history so you don't make the same mistakes. Like I said, this person, Trump, if he's been talking about running for president since the late 80s, early 90s, and he's been on record going after corruption as far as the gambling incidents in New Jersey, the gambling racketeering incidents in New Jersey, he would have a plan. Now the question is, did the plan work or did it not work? And when do you know whether it worked or whether it didn't work? Why is it saying we'll be back in some shape or form? Why is it saying see y'all soon? Who actually has legitimate authority over the country right now? Or not over the country. The states have legitimate authority over the country. Over the states. There you go. Bam. The states come together, to form a country when it comes to international affairs, international commerce, military war, stuff like that. But it's the United States. United States. The states are united. So Biden had to say, we need to come together in unity. We already are the United States. What the fuck is he talking about? And he wants to talk about unity? How about you let people there? You want unity? Show that you're not afraid of the American people. They're afraid of the American people. Why are they afraid of the American people? It's because the Trump supporters and QAnons and stuff, they're all brainwashed? Is that what they're afraid of? They're really afraid of that. When you're on the side of what you believe is truthful, factual, honest, you don't have nothing to worry about. I'm still not worried. I'm still not concerned. Because I know what I'm going to try to do. I know what I'm going to try. And if I don't, obviously I'm going to keep trying and stuff like that. And whether, hell, there's probably somebody in my own local area or somewhere else in the state who's already on top of this trying to figure out how to get these people recalled, how to change these elected officials in these cities. They're trying to figure that out. Granted, they might be on the opposite side. I had looked up and saw some people were talking about it, but they were on the opposition. They want to get rid of Governor DeSantis. I'm like, oh, chill out now. I don't want to get rid of him. But at the same time, I can pay attention to what they're doing, because if they can find some success in what they're doing, as far as getting the right signature or the process of getting a petition and signatures and whatnot, then, maybe I can follow along, but also I'm going to tweak it into what I think or what I want done as far as me being a citizen and a resident of this state and of this country. But as like I was saying a few minutes ago, what happens when you don't have a legitimate president? What happens in a third world country when you don't have a legitimate president? Does the military not take over? Do we not see military occupation happening right now in D.C.? The biggest elephant in the room that no one seems to be able to answer is, why are the fucking D.C. or why are the troops there in D.C.? Why are they there? Why are they there? Because literally leading up, so this is what you would do in a military operation as far as troop withdrawal. There's a plan. There's always a plan for the increase of troop numbers and the withdrawal of troops. You should have already started seeing some of the withdrawal of troops last night. There should have already been, and I try to look for reports. I didn't see nothing. There should be a withdrawal of troops right now. Should have been one last night. Because 25,000, obviously, as the day was going on, clearly it's too fucking much. You don't need all these people. Some of these things should have been coming down and stuff, because everything's set, right? Everything's good, right? Everything's legit, right? Everything's honest and true. Biden is elected president. He's the official president of the United States. He's sitting in the White House. He has Secret Service there to protect him. Everything's good, right? So why are the troops still there? The drawdown should have been happening last night. And like I said, maybe it is, but it's not being reported. Not yet, at least. Maybe they're trying to figure out a narrative to have. You didn't need all those people there. You didn't need all those troops there. You have your Secret Service. You have, wait a minute, now I think about it, what the fuck, did I see Secret Service? I saw Secret Service as he was walking through the state capitol, or state capitol is what it is. As he was walking through the Capitol building, right? I seen some Secret Service there. Obviously, your former presidents have their Secret Service, but he flew in on a private jet, so he shouldn't got a Secret Service, I guess, until actually after he was officially sworn in, which was before noon, which makes you wonder. Why were they not on time? Why didn't they hold off a few minutes? 12 minutes? Why did they swear in at around 11:48 as opposed to swearing in at noon? Whatever. How come he doesn't have nuclear launch codes? Where are the nuclear launch codes? Where is his set? Is it at the White House? What happens when the military doesn't recognize Joe Biden as legitimate president? Remember, this whole election fraud thing was a national security thing because foreign entities were involved. China. The servers was going to Germany. I told you about the report that Italy was involved. How come no mainstream media is touching this shit? You can't. Because if you did, you start putting everything together. Remember what I'm saying in all these episodes. All the little breadcrumbs thrown out there. I'm using that to help me think. That's all I'm doing, to figure out what's going on. Because clearly something's going on. Because when no one's talking about this dude in Italy, this contractor in this government in Italy primaries, and everybody sitting down and be resigning all that other stuff, and saying that they helped with the election fraud in America, sending information to servers in Germany. Germany servers are being seized. He knows it has an association with some of the votes being transferred overseas to China, being switched around electronically and being sent back. You have a percentage of a vote, which shouldn't happen, because how is a percentage of a vote? That means there's a percentage of a human being voting. You have all this evidence, and this foreign entity involved, because you have your executive order for Insurrection Act, election interference of foreign entities. Does that not make it a military operation? What if the transition of power went from Trump to military? And it's something I was listening to somebody, I think it was X22 report. Like I said, he follows the Q reports and breaks it down. If you don't agree with that, if you don't like that, then don't. It's no big deal. I don't follow the Q reports. I've seen some of them, but I just started seeing that shit like last year, like last summer or something like that. Because it doesn't matter to me, because shit I was already listening and following, and not listening, but shit I was already reading into about the government, about different laws, about different shady ass things. Remember what I said about legal fiction, how all you gotta do is capitalize all the letters in the name, and there you create a legal entity separate from a natural being entity. And the fact that these corporations have the same rights as a natural being is kind of fucked up. Essentially, you're giving them fucking almost voting rights. How can a corporation like Amazon have the same legal rights you do as you, the natural person? Legal fiction, legalese, all these different things tie into it all together. Now, like I said, the X22 report was talking about is a military operation going on, and he transferred power from Trump to military. That's one idea. As more ideas are floating around and stuff. But it doesn't even matter to me, because I still can't figure out what the fuck is the military doing there. You can't stress that enough. What is the military doing there? Why are they there? What is going on that they need to be there? And you can't say it's about making sure that there's no riots going on. You telling me the local police of DC was not sufficient enough to handle riots? Did they not already handle that in the Capitol building? And you say, oh, well, no, they still stormed in. No, then they let them in. They let them in through the fucking doors. And they had more than enough people there then to keep everybody safe. And who were trying to keep safe? Lady Gaga? Right? Hunger Games itself. We want to keep Lady Gaga safe? But Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez? Obama? Bush Jr.? We really want to keep Bush Jr. safe. This is what we're worried about? We're worried about these people? This is what actually going on. There was one thing I also wanted to touch on. It's another one of these documents that I'm seeing floating around the internet. I know I read to y'all before about the document that says who was involved on the Treasonous Act, the Black Op 9/11 attack. Here's a document from unitefor45.com. Never heard of these people. I haven't seen this in one of these messaging chat rooms, whatever. So like I said, take it for what it's worth. But it says George Herbert Walker Bush indictment, paperwork 2 months before death. Obviously, it's a copy. It says in the Arkansas Supreme Court, and I'm reading now from the document, in the Arkansas Supreme Court for the Eastern District of Arkansas, I believe it's the same people as on the other report, Robert Blair, Thomas Deegan, Peter Ostrowski, Jeremy Lowe, Don Bailey, Stephen D. Curry, whatever, in private capacity by special appearance only. There's other plaintiffs. It's a criminal action for full punitive damages. Common ground jury demanded. Common ground. No difference between U.S. penal code, military penal code, or military code, military law, and common law. Pay attention to the laws. That's why you like, oh, they operate outside the Constitution, or they use the Constitution. They pick it up and throw it down wherever they feel like it, because there's all these different laws going around. Which one actually has sovereignty or goes along with sovereignty? Some say common law. No difference between common law and maritime law. Law of the sea. Common law, law of the land. Maritime law, law of the sea. Jordan Maxwell is a good person that breaks it down, but hell, I'm sure there's tons of information. I know there's tons of information on the internet where kind of highlights all these things as well. So you have common grand jury demanded concerning money laundering, conspiracy to violate Logan Act, and human trafficking under RICO. 18 United States Code C-96, Section 1961. And it looks like this docket code or docket number, whatever you want, case number 186-RV3-524. Says George Herbert Walker Bush of Carlyle Group, Twilight, George Herbert Walker Bush Private, George Herbert Walker Bush, etc., all with prejudice. So as I read those three separate names, what I was reading is the way he spells his name differently. So you have George Herbert Walker Bush, all capital letters, and also George Herbert Walker Bush Private, meaning the way he spells his name, the natural man. The natural man and legal fiction are both being charged and indicted. The allegations, says the Honorable John Dan Kemp, September 10, 2018. The allegations concerning breaking a form of the Logan Act through use of conspiracy to undermine national mining laws are serious enough as to warrant another superseding indictment against the defendant George Herbert Walker Bush. Due to this fact, Your Honors, we will order defendant to be read the riot. I think it's supposed to be RICO. Or maybe no, it's the riot. RIOT Act. These acts were committed beside the sedations involved in Uranium One, which also goes along with the other document I was reading on the other episode of the podcast. It says they concern human trafficking and conspiring to defraud the United States. Human trafficking. Some things go along with the Carlyle Group and mining. It has something to do with I believe it was a Clinton Foundation in South Africa and the Barrick Gold, Nevada. A lot of stuff it goes along with each other. And like I said, some people will be like, oh, that's a fake document. That's fake. But in a world where the mainstream media will literally lie to you and show you fake news and show you false information, what makes sense now? Does it seem like the shit that they say is not fake is actually true? Or factual? Excuse me. So the shit they say is fake. Would it be factual? Who's releasing this information? Remember, a lot of stuff has been declassified. Russiagate and Obamagate was declassified. Trying to declassify Clinton's emails from her server, private server. Can you have a private server? That's a good question, right? So all these documents are being declassified, but how are they going to get out to the people? Also, you can't use mainstream media. They'll never get that shit. What can you do? Do your best to vet and try to find certain outlets, certain social media, certain websites, certain people where it seems like they're on the up and up. Seems like they're worried about America first. It seems like they want to end the corruption. Remember, freedom of the press. Who's the press? We the people. We the people. I think at the end of, I'm trying to read exactly. So towards the final page, It says, and now on this day of September 10, 2018, during the fall season, it is hereby ordered that the defendant be charged with national racketeering under the RICO Act of U.S. Code 18, Chapter 96, Section 1961, along with money laundering, conspiracy to commit manslaughter, and felonies including human trafficking. Now, if someone faked this, they went through a lot just to fake this. And that's the thing, when you read stuff like that, people are like, oh, it's fake, but you have to question, why fake it? Why fake it? Why fake this? Remember what I talked about FISA court? What was it? Foreign International Surveillance Act? I think that's what it is. Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Excuse me. There you go. See, all these things they do, they circumvent, obviously, the Constitution. How can you circumvent the Constitution? You make sure you do things overseas and you circulate it over there and stuff and you bring it back. You try to wash it through all these fake shell companies and stuff like that. Oh, you mean the shit that you see in movies? Once again, you thought they were making this stuff up? And you thought the criminals was these crazy villainous people? No, the true criminals, the true villains are the ones right in front of your face that'll smile and say, oh, look, we donated tons of money. We donated to these children in Haiti and helped them get school and stuff. You know, you had an earthquake down there, all of a sudden there's a bunch of kids that go missing from Haiti. But, we don't talk about missing kids in America. It's just an issue that we don't talk about. Just like we talk about slavery being in the past, yet we don't talk about human trafficking, which is literally the exact same thing. But we don't want you to focus on modern day problems, because if you focus on modern day problems, you might start questioning why is it still happening in modern day. Because the only way this shit can happen in modern, you can't fucking post something on the internet without fucking your local authorities knock on your door. You see streamers of gaming that fucking get raided because someone played a prank on them, and then the FBI is busting in. Yet, guns are allowed into this country, drugs are allowed into this country, and human trafficking, kids are abducted, all this shit all the time. You think that can go on without some type of form of corruption? And not just at the lowest level, but the highest level possible? To sit here and read this document, to see this, it doesn't do anything but add more information to the amount of information of shit I already know about. But gives more details, because I see the bigger picture, and hell, the bigger picture I'm seeing probably still isn't the biggest picture I can possibly see. And the smallest, and the details I'm getting, I'm thinking of small details, it probably goes even smaller than that. That's how complex and intrinsic this plan is. From both sides. Like I said, universal laws. If you're going to have one side, you're going to have one end of the spectrum, you got to have the other end of the spectrum. You got to have that duality. So if you're going to have all these corrupt people and everything, then who is on the opposite side of the good people? Like I said, it's not just about Trump. It's not just about Trump. It goes beyond Trump. It starts with JFK being shot in D.C. That's why I keep mentioning these things. That moment right there, in D.C., in Texas, that moment right there, let people know that, hey, we got a shady form of the government, and then there's other people in the government are thinking, we got to do something to stop this. And it probably goes even further back than that. Because Jekyll Island, 1913, island off the coast of Georgia, when they did the Federal Reserve Act. And then I think they did Emergency Banking Act in 1933, when they want to take away gold, or they want to take us off the gold standard and all these other things. How long does this go back? The robbing of America. When America, we talk about history books, and people are like, oh, this is not America, blah, blah, this America's always been bad. Are we not hearing two different versions of America simultaneously at the same time? That's the word simultaneously. Don't know why I said that twice. Are we not hearing two different forms of America? Why does the Constitution say we the people, and yet people are like, well, so-and-so wasn't allowed to vote? Why would you need an amendment to the Constitution if you already had it on there, we the people? We the people. What is we the people? We the citizens? We the citizens. Who are the citizens? Pay attention to the peace treaties be amongst the Native Americans, and not just the ones you think of, the skin color, but all of the Native Americans, all the fucking hundreds of tribes that was already in America going on at the time. You don't think all those tribes, if they wanted to, could have banded together and kicked out anybody that came on ships? Oh, are their weapons were more advanced? How are wars won? Is it won because of military might? Because you don't want to just go around blowing up and destroying everything. You also want to have tons of bodies because you got to get rid of them as well. And you don't want to lose mass amounts of resources. Because if you lose all your resources, then what are you going to do about it? So what is going on in America that something just doesn't add up? Something's just not right. It's been going on a long time. It's been going on a long time. So at some point, it's going to come to fruition where you'll see a clash of what you want to call good versus evil. At some point in time, opposition will rise up. If all these people are corrupt, if all these politicians are bad, and you could throw Trump in there as well. Say Trump is a bad politician or a corrupt politician and he's all part of it too. Will there not be some opposition that will rise up? Who is the opposition? You're looking at the person in the mirror. You are the opposition. I'm the opposition. All of us. All of us are looking at all this shit and like, hey, fuck this. What the fuck is going on? And it goes along with that one person, that intern that's sitting there in the Senate filing paperwork. Kamala Harris like to pull off her story saying she was an intern in the senator's office in California. Oh, you mean she saw some shady shit and thought, oh, I want to be powerful just like them. Because she didn't think, oh, I want to change the world. I want to get rid of this shit. So you have all these things going on. All these people are concerned and worried. You don't think there's somebody in the military? You don't think some of these generals are like, hey, fuck this guy. We're not about to let him be president. Does Biden have support of the military? Does he have support of the military generals? Generals. Does he have support of the military? Pay attention to the military. Pay attention to what the military is doing. Pay attention to what military officials are saying. Who's in charge of the country? Who's in charge of DC? Who's in charge of the federal government? Is there a federal government? Does it actually exist right now? If none of this is legitimate, if all this is illegal, now what? If I'm reading documents, because documents are supposed to be declassified and released in association with Russiagate and Obamagate, and we don't know how far back that goes, what is going on? So that's why I'm not worried. What I am is motivated, like I've been motivated. What I am is trying to do something in my own city, do something in my own state. What I am is sick and tired of sitting on the sideline saying, oh, I can't do anything. There's a weak mentality. And that's something that I don't appreciate of myself because I know I'm not that person. But I've been there where you're looking at all the corruption and all the other stuff and you're like, man, fuck, what can we do about it? And that's how you know you lost. Because you worry about what you can do about it instead of saying, are you not worried about what you can do about it? You're like, oh, I can't do nothing about it. That's where you lost. You have to do something about it. And that's something I learned over this past year. Because once they fucking put us on lockdown and told us we can't go outside, I knew this is it. These motherfuckers is all these conspiracy, quote unquote conspiracy theories that I followed and listened to, all that stuff, that they're going to lock us down, they're going to do all this quarantine stuff. It's finally coming to fruition and it played out right in front of my face. And I'm realizing I've been living a conspiracy my whole fucking life. And now I'm like, I got to do something. Even if I can just go out there and voice my opinion. Yeah, that might not be much, but it's something. It's something. Because if you want to make a change, if you want to take down these corrupt people, well, you got to let everybody know, hey, these people are corrupt. This is what's going on. We all know it. We all see it. There's a reason why we don't like these corporations. It's not because they're not bad, they're bad institutions or stuff like that. It's not because, they got millions of dollars and they rip out their employees. It's because, then in essence, they're toe in toe with the government. They're just all hand in hand. You see one corporation just kind of take over and eat up all the other corporations, and the government sits back and assists it. They don't let it happen because that's a free market. They should let it happen, but no, they assist in it when they award these government contracts, and they're not giving it to the best person. They're usually getting it to the lowest. I said before, wherever equates to the lowest amount of money. The best buck for their value, we want to call that. I probably fucked that expression. But to see that article out there, or to see that document out there, like we knew 9/11 was an inside job. Just don't know the details. Just don't know the workings. Don't know how it happened. We know Obama was a plant because he has no backstory. He has no history. And he was like, why y'all want me to show me my birth certificate? Why we want Trump to show his taxes? People want to know information about the so-called people that they're electing. There's nothing wrong with that. Although I feel like a tax is a little bit more private than a birth certificate because you're going more into financials as opposed to if you say where you're born at. Everyone talks about where they're born at. And birth certificates don't even have a social security number and stuff like that on it. But I can get it too. Where both sides want to remain private and say, I don't have to show you that. All right, cool. Where did Obama come from? Just pops up. Right? Seems to have no apparent lineage or royalty or anything like that yet. I think his family's prominent in Kenya. I wouldn't be surprised if you dig deep enough, you'll find something. And not necessarily go down a rabbit hole, but just follow the money. Follow the money. What happened to the DNC email service? What happened with Hillary Clinton emails? You don't think somebody in a position of power, as far as decision making, as far as the military, the government, didn't look at those emails? All it takes is that one person to sit there and be like, hey, this isn't right. I got to do something about it. People want Eric Snowden to be pardoned and stuff like that. Why? Because they look at Eric Snowden like a hero because he saw something was wrong and he said, no, let's do something about it. I got to do something about this. I mean, really, he kind of was like, wait a minute. You're not going to give me credit for what I've done? Oh, and now you're going to take what I did and use it in a way that which I didn't necessarily want it to be used? Oh, let me blow the whistle. How many whistleblowers out there are part of the government? Or they are no longer part of the government, rather. It's those things. It's those people who all make those small decisions. Whether it's something that, hey, I'm resigning and stepping down and I'm going to tell everybody what's going on. That's what it is. Bringing these lies out into the light. Bringing them out of the shadows into the light for all of us to see. I'm going to do my part. I'm doing my part now. I'm going to try to do more. I'm going to make sure I try to stay motivated and not be lazy and try to do more. Yes, it's hard because you have your own personal life and things you got to take care of first as well. But is anything that's worth anything in life easy? Be honest with you, I get off on things as a challenge. Like, I get excited when it's more of a challenge anyways. Not necessarily with women, but yeah, when things more of a challenge, I get excited. So definitely look into all the stuff that's going on. Don't feel deflated. Don't feel down and stuff like, oh man, blah, blah, this and that. I can't believe this is happening. Didn't Trump say, be careful what you wish for when he was talking about the 25th Amendment? He said, I hope it doesn't come back to bite him in the butt. In a sense, what he says, I hope it doesn't come back to haunt them. We talked about recall. 25th Amendment. You don't think the 25th Amendment can be applied to Joe Biden and his administration? How does that work? Who will invoke it? Who will not invoke it? You don't think these people, they're fucking cannibals, man. They'll literally that too. They'll throw each other under the bus. Anytime you ever dealt with a liar, a jealous person, anybody who has those type of negative characteristics, what do you always see from them? They don't have no real loyalty. They will throw each other under the fucking bus in order to succeed. Remember, it's a dog-eat-dog world. I'll do whatever I need to do to climb over you to get to the top. I think Jay-Z has a line about crabs in a bucket. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but hey, If I can climb over you to get to the top, I will. Obviously, you think of crabs in a bucket metaphor, analogy, where you want to call it, where crabs will crawl over another crab to get out. These people will walk on top of each other and throw each other on the bus. So what happens when one of them feels the pressure and cracks? Like I said earlier, FISA court. How do you know that hasn't already happened? When has any military operation been disclosed to the public until after it has been completed? And that's the key right there. If we've been in a national emergency, and election fraud and insurrection and all this stuff is a national emergency because of foreign entities, obviously you have Hunter Biden and Joe Biden on stage being sworn, or Joe Biden being sworn in. You know his ties to China and his corruption in his family alone. He's already compromised. He's compromised because of his connections from his son to China and to Burisma and to Ukraine. He's compromised. Yet he still was elected president. There's nothing official or legit and are legitimate about this at all. So you really think these military generals sat by and just gonna let this stuff happen? You really think Trump just gonna sit by and let this shit happen? You really think the people, it's like I said, it's not just about Trump, it's about all the people around him that we don't even know exist, that we don't even know is going on. How's this stuff getting out? How's this document getting out? Who took the time to fake this document to get out? What would be the purpose of faking a document like this? And the document I read on the other episode, what is the purpose of faking a document like that? Why is no one mentioning it? Why is no mainstream media mentioning this document? Oh, because it's fake. They just gotta ignore it. QAnon is fake too, right? But you see, they blew that shit up and made sure they denounced that, and they kicked everybody off of Twitter and social media, whoever wants to follow and believe in QAnon. If this gets further traction and people start paying attention to these documents, now what? Are they going to say it's fake? Are they going to say it's QAnon, conspiracies? What happens when I break down these documents and I can look up all the information? Because guess what? The Clinton Foundation is in South Africa. So one thing from the document I already checked out. And then how many things from this document checks out that I can find on the internet? Oh, well, that's why it's fake, because someone sat there and put it all together. Because, yeah, you can find it on the internet, then you know it's not that hard, that it's easy to fake. Right? Because that makes sense, because that just sounds like a narrative that the mainstream media will tell you. That's how you discredit something. That's how you distract someone from seeing something factual. That's how they discredit the evidence, saying, oh, well, anybody can create this, anybody can fake this. And anything that happens to check out factual in these documents is just a coincidence because it's already out there on the internet. Guess what? Everything is out there on the internet. That's what the internet is. Tons of fucking information. Tons of information. These people document everything. They hide in plain sight. Because if you're not paying attention, they can go fucking do whatever they want to. People ain't paying attention, and guess what? They literally took the fucking White House. People aren't paying attention, and they literally took the White House. Or at least they presented the image, the illusion that they took the White House. So I'll be back on tomorrow, obviously. Another episode. Try to have it uploaded by, 12 noon. 12 noon, that's the same time. 12, 1, whatever. Try to have it upload before then. I started earlier today, and I actually talked a little bit longer than what I planned on. And there's still things I didn't touch on. But as always, do your own research. Honestly, listen. I mean, of course, I want you to listen to me, but listen to me in the sense of I'm not right or wrong. Just brainstorming. Use me as a tool to help you think of something on your own. Civil discourse. Just sitting here, we're talking. It's no different than us sitting there going out to eat and stuff, or having a bite for lunch or something like that, or hanging out, and we're just sitting there talking. Hell, no different than us just sitting on the porch and smoking some weed. Like, hey man, you take a hit, you're like, hey, you ever know this is wild shit? That's it, man. We're talking. We're trying to figure out what's going on. And then we're spreading and sharing information. And then we're also trying to take other actions. And we're not taking other actions. We will support those people that are taking those actions. So don't let the things that you always see get you, because if you're old enough to remember, they took down. I like to bring this up often. They took down the towers. They took down the towers in front of your eyes. They faked the Gulf of Tonkin incident and went to Vietnam. They will lie about anything and everything. And people will feel demoralized, and people will feel, I'm not say demoralized, but more or less, they will feel like they lost all is lost. They lost all hope. Because I'm not selling hope. Obviously, I'm not selling hope. I'm not selling hope at all. What I'm selling is nothing. Myself. I'm just talking, providing information and things that I learned, and spreading it out there. Because each and every one of you that are listening are smart enough and intelligent enough to come up with your own conclusions and figure out your own things. Because is there an absolute positive answer to all this? Who the fuck knows? It might be multiple answers, multiple solutions to all this. And don't be worried about whether you're right or wrong. School puts us in that mindset. Hey, you gotta be right about this question. You gotta be right about what you're answering. You gotta be right. And if you're wrong, that's bad. As opposed to trying to think, trying to learn, trying to understand. Because it's through your mistakes. That's how you learn. Once again, a lesson I was talking to my son about last night. He did something that I didn't like, and we had our disagreement about it. Actually, not our disagreement about it. He did something he wasn't supposed to do. He made a bad choice. But I said, hey, these bad choices, these mistakes that you do, don't worry about it. Obviously, accept what's going on, accept the punishment that I give you. But these are learning experiences. I don't care if I'm wrong about something, because I know I can still grow from it. There's nothing, you're going to be wrong about things in life. And when I'm on here, I try to not come off as saying I'm right or wrong. And I apologize if I do, if I ever be like, oh, look at me, I'm right. I try to stay away from that. And I think I do a fair enough job being unbiased and trying to stay away from right or wrong. Because I have my own thoughts and my own opinions, and that's all I'm providing, that's all I'm sharing. Along with information and things that I know or that I'm finding or whatever on the internet. And things that I read in books or whatever the case may be as well. But don't get so caught up in right or wrong. Don't get so caught up in, oh man, we just sat there and watched it. It's all over with. Is it? When is the movie over? The movie is never over until the credit scenes. And then after that movie is over, is it actually over? Or is there a sequel to it? Is it a movie or is it a TV show? Is it a series? Pay attention to the details, because once you get caught up in all these emotions, you're no longer paying attention. You're no longer thinking logically. All the details that I talked about today, all the different little things that was going on. Why? There's one more thing. Why was the chat disabled on all the live streams? NBC, NBC News, C-SPAN, C-SPAN 2, I believe. I know. I watched it on C-SPAN, so I feel like C-SPAN 2 would have it disabled as well. Fox News, all the chats are disabled on these live streams on YouTube. So not only are you not allowed to attend Inauguration America, you can't even talk publicly about it on the internet, on a live stream America, on YouTube. We don't even want you to talk publicly with each other with random people that you don't know. And that is a problem right there, because what is going on about all this that we can't attend? They don't want us talking about it on the internet, as far as under live streams. What is actually going on? And that's something we all have to think about. So until next time,